Hello, everyone. It is Misha Green, DC editor, and I am really excited to be here with Joy Lawson, the founder of the Joy of Styling.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So first of all, it's a weird day in all of the weirdness and all. It's a Monday, first of all, and thank God for this beautiful Monday. But we are going to be doing some things that we normally don't do in the Facebook world, in the journalism world, in the social media interviewing world thus far with the AFRO. So we are going to be going live not only on our Facebook, but also on Instagram. So if you have an Instagram and want to check us out on the Instagram platform, join us on Instagram right now. We're about to go live and we're going to see how this works and if it does work. It's also a crazy and wild Monday because this very rarely happens, but I have the opportunity to interview my cousin. That is right. Joy Lawson is actually my first cousin. And we are more like sisters. Our mamas are sisters.
Yes.
I have been with the Joy of Styling and rocking with the Joy of Styling since its founding in 2016. So we are going to try to go live on both platforms. I appreciate all those who've already joined in. Okay, so yeah. Now there's going to be
Turn on the volume.
Turn your, oh, it's in me? Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay, success. All right, hello everybody on the Instagram world. Just so that you guys understand what's going on and why we're playing tennis with our faces, that is because we're both live on Facebook and on Instagram, and we really appreciate all those who are tuning in today. Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Okay, so let's just go ahead and dive into absolutely everything. First of all, congratulations, Joy, on 5 years of the Joy of Styling. Before we even get into some of the awesome things that you have going on right now, can you tell us just the history of the company, why you started, and where you are today?
Yes, so thankful the Joy of Styling turned 5. Really started because fashion has just been ingrained in me, as you know, since I was younger, with starting off modeling. And when I decided to go into school in New York, that's when I really got deep into the background of fashion, and I wanted to learn more about the business side. I got heavily involved in college campus activities and clubs. Shout out to Fashion Club, now known as the Red House at St. John's University, and just super thankful for all the experiences that I had there because it really allowed me to learn that it's more than just, modeling in the industry, being a designer. And I fell in love with events and throwing events from like start to finish, coming up with the concepts and like seeing the whole idea come into fruition. So that was like, okay, I really enjoy this, but I always wanted to see more of fashion in the community. And I really wanted to see the fashion community giving in different ways that necessarily wasn't doing it all the time. So when I started the Joy of Styling, I was like, I wanted to represent everything that I love personally about the fashion industry. I wanted to see representation. I wanted to see it giving back. And then styling really came in when I was a visual merchandiser at retail. Started off in different stores, but Forever 21 was really like my base. And I always love to say my first customers were first clients were the customers that were coming in. And that was when I got my experience. Like, I love making people feel good in what they look like on the outside. And that really speaks to how you are in the inside. So when I started the business, it was like, boom, we're going to do styling, we're going to do fashion events, and we're going to bring fashion into the community. And honestly, it's just evolved. Although I started it in 2015, it was LLC'd in 2016. And I'm just super, super excited to see the growth that has happened and how it has just really changed into a movement within this area in the DMV, but really speaking to what you can do within the fashion industry and how fashion can connect to anyone. So yeah, that was, I don't want to give too much away, but that kind of just gives a spill to how we are where we are today. And really thankful for the community for getting behind me and all the clients that entrusted me in elevating their styles and just continuing to thrive.
Well, that's amazing. That is, it's good to go back and I think reflect on your journey and how far you've come. I mean, from someone who saw herself, and I still think can slay a runway every day, right? The business side of the fashion world, and the piece about making other people feel good and empowerment, I think is so incredibly important and a staple to your business. I am sorry to our Instagram world. I don't know what's happening.
I was like, it looks like it's a little delayed or frozen.
Now it's frozen. I don't even know if we're still on. I'm just gonna close out of the Instagram app.
Okay, that's cool.
And come back. I'll go back to it maybe during your next.
I'll go live on mine. That way people can still hear the answers that are coming. So
I'm going back on too. I'm just gonna, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna turn back on my Wi-Fi and see if that was working. Okay, now let's see. It's checking connection, and we are live on Instagram. And continuing to rock and be live on Facebook. And we thank all those who are tuning in on Facebook and our lawyer followers. Good morning to Carlene and Octavia, who are tuning in and have said hello. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, to all those who are rocking with us this morning. So Joy, obviously in the past 5 years, there's been so much in how the Joy of Styling itself has evolved.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about the empowerment piece? It's obviously Women's History Month, and I think, again, as I said before, that was such a staple and I think hook piece for many people when they learned about your company. And so like with Fit and Fabs, okay, I'm giving too much.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit of the evolution, but particularly as it relates to women's history and women's empowerment as we're in Women's History Month?
Right. So fun fact, I am a huge history buff. As Nisha knows, I actually studied history in undergrad and I minored in Africana studies. So history is ingrained in the Joy of Styling. And I truly believe that you cannot move forward without knowing where you've come from. And in empowerment, that speaks to everything that's within my business. Because a lot of the times, especially within the fashion industry, you see people competing with one another instead of uplifting one another. And if something is for you, it's only for you. It's God ordained that way, and it's meant for you. So we should not be comparing, fighting with one another, or really jealous of other people's blessings, because that's their blessing and not ours. So when it comes to empowerment, I wanted the brand to uplift and make sure that when you're coming on the page, when you're coming to our events, when you're working with the styling team, you're feeling empowered in everything that you do, because we are about giving. We are making sure that we are making our impact here while we're here. And the business is a representation of me, and I take that very seriously within my life, coming from our background of our mothers and grandmothers and just all the ancestors before us. It's funny because as I was like prepping for this interview, I thought back just in general about women's history. When did it really hit me that I wanted to push Black history specifically just within the community, within everything that I did? In my junior year of college, I actually took a women's history class, and it was one of my favorite classes. I remember being one of 2 women of color out of 30 people within the class. And it was a time when we had to reenact individuals that made an impact within women's suffrage. And of course, we hear a lot about women's suffrage and, the main individuals who are making it, but we hear a lot about Sojourner Truth being one of the only African Americans that are well known within that. But I remember having to represent Mary Church Terrell, and someone who is overlooked, but really made an impact within women's suffrage, not just for African Americans, but every woman. And at that moment, I remember saying to myself, we need to know our history, but it needs to be connected in different ways. So that was one of the reasons why I said in everything that I'm doing with the Joy of Styling, I want it to be a connection with empowerment, but also education, because education is ongoing and that is hand in hand with empowerment. In order for us to empower each other, we have to know everything, that the knowledge that we need. And that really just stood out to, I guess, other businesses. For when people do look at the Joy of Styling, it's not just fashion that you're getting. You're getting the empowerment, you're getting the education. And that was the extension of me starting my own podcast called Styled and Live in Color, where we focus on telling stories of being Black in fashion and giving flowers to those who are past and present. And one of my favorite people to talk about is Elizabeth Keckley, who from Washington, D.C., who I love to say is one of the first fashion stylists, because she was actually styling the top political women during that time, like First Lady Lincoln. And it was something that a lot of people don't know, but she came from slavery, bought freedom for her son, and then ended up moving forward and establishing an amazing business here in Washington, D.C., where she empowered others and taught them how to be seamstresses and tailors and just work and be in the fashion industry. And that's DMV bred history. And a lot of people do not know that. So when I'm able to speak that education through my podcast, through platforms, through events, it's helping empower other people, because we know what we're capable of. We know where we come from. We know that we're resilient and we're able to move forward and do anything. So that is one of the amazing things of being able to educate and empower through my platform. I think that was like a long-winded answer, but I got it out.
No, that was a perfect answer. And thank you so much. And I love that you touched on the evolution to Style and Living Color in particular, because so often when we talk about your world, the world of fashion, the world of styling, we forget about the stories and the important stories that come as part of it. And so kudos to the work you're doing in that. You talked about you enjoying sharing the history of Black people and Black women and women in fashion and fashion history. But tell us a little bit about some of the initiatives that you've done, particularly the Black business market and Bossish, and then we'll get into the Bossish Black women's business directory in the next question.
So I just love putting on for Black women. That Black women support me the most, and as a Black woman, I clearly connect the most. And when it comes to making sure that we are feeling empowered, we are feeling amazing when we wake up in the morning, that styling aspect definitely leads to it. But I wanted to do a little bit more. So I love having panels and discussions. So one of them being Boss Talk, that we started in 2019. I like to say classes of each group. And it was about bringing Black women together and highlighting their businesses, because a lot of the times, when we do have panels, it's about highlighting, one or the other. But I wanted to have something where my platform is able to share other women's success, not about me, but how I'm able to make sure that I'm doing my job in helping others reach different parts of the community. And it blew up. That was like the start of it. And that's really where I actually got the name of Styled and Live in Color, when we did that photo shoot during my monochrome project in 2019. So many different shades of beautiful Black women. And every day you wake up and you're Styled and Live in Color. And I was like, that's the name of the podcast. So I actually got it during that Boss Talk. We ended up doing a virtual one this past year. And the panelists every time that I leave it, I feel empowered, and I know that the guests that are on there feel empowered. And it's just an amazing thing to see how
some of the guests that you've had in the past.
Oh, absolutely. So one of them right now, Sidebar, Jillian, who's the founder of Sidebar, who's actually working with Smirnoff at the moment, has a huge marketing campaign. Chrissy from Charismatic Creations. I've had Jennifer Cakes and Sweets. I've had it can be so many. The list like goes on and on, just in terms of the amazing women that have reached the industry in the DMV. And I'm looking to expand it so that it's not just them, but it really can reach more women up and down the East Coast. That's really what I'm looking to do next year. So you can look forward to Boss Talk expanding, but just seeing the growth of how when I first, I've known Jillian for a long time, but how we made the connection and just seeing how Sidebar has grown and the platform that they have been able to access, and even like I said with Chrissy, and seeing her blow up and be featured in all these different magazines, and Jillian Griffith, who works with Giant Foods. And I'm just so happy to be able to share the platforms with a lot of people that kind of are behind the scenes. And I wanted to make sure that we are bringing their stories to the forefront. So that's what Boss Talk was and is all about. So that's one of the initiatives that we do for highlighting Black women. But really, Boss-ish Black Business Market was and still is one of my favorite events to do. We launched it. Technically, it was supposed to be launched in 2019, but God said not yet. So I listened because it wasn't going to be what it was supposed to be. I was very hurt by it. But in 2020, we did it and we hosted it in Silver Spring. And actually, Misha was one of the hosts, along with one of my great, great friends, Darnell Jamal. And it was an event filled with, we had almost 30 vendors, and the attendees just, every time I think of the experience, it was such excellence, because from the moment that you walked in, you just felt history. You felt love. You felt empowered. You wanted to reach out and help others. You wanted to learn more about everyone's businesses. It ranged from boutiques to event planners to apparel to jewelry, soaps. You name it, it was there. Artists, we had installations where you could speak to if what is the legacy that you want to leave? What are some of your grandmother's wildest dreams? How are her prayers still helping you? We had a photo booth that was around 1920, just with Black Wall Street. That was what this was all about. And a lot of people still don't know about Black Wall Street. So I really wanted to continue to educate as we are in the 100th year of Black Wall Street within Tulsa, Oklahoma. This year, I really wanted to make sure that we're continuing to educate. And we had history facts going off every like 20, 30 minutes, giving away gifts. Like we felt like we were Oprah. So it was really great just to see that. And truly a highlight. And that's really what led me to know we need more of empowering and educating through events where it's not just going to vendor events, but you're actually taking something from it. So we had history facts in the gift bags and giveaways. But yeah, it was, I can go on and on about that event because it was just so amazing.
Just figured out. I apologize to the IG folks out there. I have to mute my whole computer and listen to Joy on Insta. And then now I have to mute my phone and talk to those on Facebook and make sure that you guys can hear me. We got it together, y'all. This is what we call the pandemic pivot. It's still going on. So Joy, first of all, again, congratulations on all those initiatives and your ability to pivot during the pandemic. It is very interesting how entrepreneurs have been able to do so during this time. So please share that. But in particular, this year you weren't able to have an in-person boss talk like the inaugural one, and yet it was still very successful, like you mentioned. This year, you weren't able to have an official Black business market, but you came hard and strong with a Black business directory, specifically highlighting Black women. So talk to us a little bit about your pandemic pivot and the awesome things, particularly the directory that you brought to the people this year.
Yes. So, yeah, pandemic happened. And it was, how are we going to make this shift? What are we going to do that is going to elevate us and make sure that we're still reaching the individuals that we need to? How can I still share styling tips? How can I still reach clients? How can I still have events? So, at the beginning of the year, it was trying to figure out what is best and what is necessary. We're all in our homes. So one of the main things that, as we were approaching spring, it was, as you know, first day of spring was just this past Saturday. Spring cleaning. That is something that I take so seriously, because it's just like you are refreshing a new page. You want to make sure that you are looking at your style, seeing if you are still that style. So we started doing our basically our style works classes and having them cater to main topics that people wanted to know about: body shape, about how to elevate their closets, how to clean out their closets. And that was a huge hit, and it was very intimate, and I enjoyed it because we were able to have one-on-one questions and answer different things that we kind of couldn't if it was a larger course of people. So that was great. I'm a huge events person. So as we reached 5 years, like, I realized I've done over 50 events in general through the Joy of Styling. So it was, okay, we're not in person anymore. How am I actually going to be able to do something? So as I mentioned, we ended up doing virtual boss talk. But Bossish was so successful last year. I said, like, I had to do something this year for it. And really going into the 5th year, I wanted to be intentional with everything that I was doing, making sure that the business was aligned with where I am, as it is a representation of me as I continue to grow and just elevate within so many different levels. I wanted to speak to the growth within me, but the growth that everybody else had this past year, and really taking advantage of us having this virtual connection. So I said I was not going to do an event this year if God did not tell me to specifically do it, and I would not do it until I had to go. And I remember, I think I was like either cleaning out something, and God said, you know what, you should do Bossish again. Do it virtually, but you should speak specifically to Black women. And I was like, okay. So it came to me to do the Bossish Black Women's Business Directory. And honestly, it was so amazing in the thought process, because I wanted to give. I wanted the first thing event that I wanted this year, I wanted to make sure that I was giving. And the directory allows you to not only access over 50 businesses of amazing Black women, but you are donating to a nonprofit organization owned by a Black woman called the Young Summit in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I am just so happy to have this and really be able to reach them and help in any way possible. So we are still going until the end of the month. We have to the 31st, and you can still donate. You can head over to the TGOS page. I've seen the link kind of pop up on Facebook Live, and you can head over there. Any amount that's all you have to do. Any amount that you want, anything that you want to end up giving, and help young Black girls in the Philadelphia area become unapologetically proud Black women. And that is what the organization is about, and making sure that we are continuing to empower and give to young Black women. So that initiative is what we're currently doing. And I'm just so blessed to how everybody has been donating and is continuing to donate.
All righty. Thank you, Joy. And congratulations. For those looking on Instagram, I'm sorry you can't see. We have a bit of a graphic just showing the Bossish Black Women's Business Directory, which will go into the video from Joy's page, but you can check out that link and info on the business directory at tjoyofstyling.com/bossish-business-directory. Thanks to all those who are rocking with us thus far on Instagram and on Facebook. We really appreciate it. Right now, we have a special moment. I told her I'd put it in the chat, and I'm sorry I didn't. But our intern, our amazing intern, Savannah Samuels, is going to hop on. I'm going to see if she can get on also on the Instagram page. Savannah, are you already watching on the Instagram stream? It's okay if you're not. While she, okay, you are. Okay, so we're gonna add her into IG as well. Can you request to join?
And I also just want to put out there, it is the Uniquely You Summit that the donations are going to. I said the summit earlier, but the Uniquely You Summit in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that specifically speaks to young Black girls in the area developing in their creativity and just businesswomen in general. So make sure y'all donate.
Yes, very, very important. Thank you for putting that out there, Joy. Okay, here we go. Savannah is sending the request and she's in, I believe, and I'm adding her to the stream on Facebook. All righty. All right, let me turn down my phone so that y'all
Savannah. Oh, this is the first time doing the group one on here. This is actually great.
Yeah, this is hard. I'm sure that the Instagram people are getting a bit of a feedback, and I'm really sorry about that. But it won't last long. It will not last long. So everyone, this is Savannah Samuel. She's our amazing intern representing Howard University. She's a senior, focused on broadcast journalism. And so Savannah's been awesome in supporting us on the backstage side of things. But she said, oh, we got some people saying HU, you know. Yes.
Okay.
But we also want to make sure that Savannah gets an opportunity to ask Joy some questions on the live. So without further ado, I'm going to be quiet and let our amazing journalists take over.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Hello, Joy. It's been amazing just listening in and just all the good insight that you have. And so I really hope that everyone who's watching, please take this and go to our website, following our Instagram, social media, so you can get more insight on that. It's really lovely. Now, speaking of that, everyone wants to look good, of course, including, plus size women. Like we have struggles, trying to find what fits right. Even with, just different companies who probably don't have our sizes, things like that. So what are some ways that you are being inclusive to plus size women? And when I say plus size women, I'm not just talking about the extra large. I'm talking about those that go beyond that, because it is more to that, and fashion should be available to everyone. So what are some ways that you are being inclusive to us as well?
Absolutely. So with when I was saying the Style and Live in Color shoot, one of the main reasons I really loved doing it was because we were all different body shapes. And a lot of times, it is smaller sizes that are always showcased, but we're all beautiful. We are all Black. We are all amazing. And I love making sure, one, that everyone feels comfortable and they feel confident in who they are. And so that one starts with me getting to know what are the different areas that you feel most comfortable showcasing, and different areas that you want to learn how to do more. Who are different people that you look for style wise? So we start with different questions like that to kind of ease you into us starting the journey. Then from there, a lot of women actually do not know what specific body type they are. And that is really important, because that's what helps you know, should you be wearing high-waisted pants? Should you be wearing flared jeans? Should you be wearing peplum tops? Like, what are the different areas that you should be focusing on your body? So the next would be your body shape. And in terms of stores, it is a hit or miss when it comes to a lot of fast fashion brands. So Zara is not friendly for plus size women, and especially because it's a European cut size. So you have to know, again, what your body type is, what your sizings are properly, so that you can go to specific stores that fit there. And I always love to expand and really support Black businesses in any way that I can. And majority of the time, you will see Black businesses reaching past extra large, and you will see the 2X, you'll see the 3X, because we understand that is being inclusive is you have to know that we are all shapes and sizes. You can't just cater to one. So the different stores that I reach to are particularly like the Serena Williams line is one of the top ones that I love pushing for my plus size clients, because the way that she showcases clothes for body types, and we all know that Serena Williams is a whole stallion. So she has a body and she knows how to basically, prepare looks for them. And that is what I love about that. And unfortunately, she doesn't get enough publicity when it comes to what she's able to do. And there's so many other brands like Serena's brand, but that is one of the top ones. And most importantly, it is affordable. So I'm all about making sure that clients are not spending too much money, but you are basically putting your money in things that are going to last for a longer time frame. And that is one of the main things that I love. So I look out of the box. That is my answer to your question when it comes to working with plus size clients. And because I feel like everyone already feels like it's a struggle to even want to reach out to a stylist. So what I'm going to do is make you comfortable in the first place. And then once we get to that comfort level, I'm going to continue to elevate you. So not only are you seeing like Nordstrom's and like the stores that are in regular areas that you can go to, but you have boutiques that are specifically for you. It's just about the research. And that's my job, is to help you find them.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We're definitely looking for, more representation in that, and just more access as well. My second and final question is, Howard is, and just HBCUs in general are known for, their style and making sure they look cute when they come to campus and everything like that. It's important to us. So for those who are interested in fashion, because there are a lot of students who are, what are some ways that they can get more involved and get their foot in the door in the fashion industry?
I would say number one is interning. And I must put a plug out there. I do offer internships through my business where you can get a college credit for it. So if you do know of anyone, please feel free to send them my way. But that would be the first thing, is interning, and not looking for big brands to do it, because a lot of the times you're not going to get the hands-on experience as much when you go to a bigger brand, because you're thinking the name is important, but it's about the work when it comes to you getting your foot in the door within the fashion industry. Me getting to where I am now was because I was able to move and work in small areas and see different things. When I was working for Macy's as a on-campus rep, I really didn't know what it was going to give. It was an internship, but it allowed me to interact with college students in different ways in pitching and having to have events on campus with people that I knew some, but I didn't know all. And it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. So you really have to go for the work aspect of it. And networking is the number one thing, specifically within this area. I did not go to a HBCU, but I would say one of the main benefits of going to a HBCU is the connections that you have, and how it's not just in one area, it's nationwide. Utilize the connections. One of the main people that I think of in terms of stylists from Howard is Sankara, and she thrives and she always continues to give back to HU in the area. And that's someone that I would definitely say I look up to in the area, as she is a costumer and wardrobe stylist. I'm more so personal style, but her creativity is immaculate. And that is someone that you can have connections with when you were to see her and say, just ask simple questions of what did you start with? Because a lot of us in the industry, you can tell we go back years. We didn't start doing the one thing that we're doing now. I started off modeling. I thought that I was going to be the next Chanel Iman. And if you know me, you know that I love Chanel Iman, but it leads you to different paths. So really make sure you're doing that and get active on what you have on campus. That was where I really thrived. And you're able to, college gives you an experience where you're able to create what you want. You have SGI, you have funds, you have money to do such thing. Do it, use it. Because once you get out of college, you have to get your own funds. So take those experiences that you have within college of getting active, becoming leadership, and really, if that means getting on a street meet team or you going for a vice president or becoming the president of an organization, as I said earlier, for Fashion Club, that's what it was for me. And I made a lot of connections through the alumni through that club. And you'll see how slowly those connections can open doors and how you still are connected with them today. And it also speaks to mentorship. That's another thing. That is major. You want to have a mentor. You want to have someone that you can look up to and say, I need help. I'm not sure how to do this. What is the best way for me to do this? So yeah, that'll be a few of my tips there.
Thank you. And I hope that if there's any college students, on and listening or watching as well, take those opportunities. Like she said, she has an opportunity. So very excited. Thank you so much.
Y'all, I could shed some real tears right now. I am so proud of Savannah and her questions. Those were great questions, Savannah. And as you were asking them, I could see all of the hearts going all the way up on Instagram and people being like, yes, I had that question too. I could see that happening. So thank you, Savannah, so much for your questions. And Joy, thank you for your transparency and your willingness to answer all of the questions today. I can't believe, first of all, we're even over the 30-minute mark. Normally, I would have said, okay, so now it's time for people to ask questions in the comments or shouting out the people that are there. So I will very, very briefly do so on both Instagram and Facebook. I'm gonna start on Instagram since I'm looking at IG first. Oh gosh, there's so many people who have tapped in, so I'm not gonna say you all by name, but I'm waving. I'm trying to get to everyone, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in. The fashion curator said, your opinion and work will definitely be valued and utilized working as an intern with the Joy of Styling. Who is that, Ebony? Who's that?
That is Ebony.
Okay.
And I just want to put it out there. Ebony met me, slid in my DMs and asked, did I need help? And now she's a junior stylist, starting her own business. And there's a lot of stories that come with that connection. I'm not all about you just giving to TJOS. We give to each other, and I make sure that you're building your brand as well.
Well, you heard that, y'all. It's about getting out there and knowing what you want and claiming those opportunities. Thank you to all those who are tuning in on Facebook. We really appreciate it. Chippy Bass says, kudos, Savannah. Much success, Joy, and your vision. Thank you. Thanks to all those tuning in. We really, really, really appreciate it. I have one last selfish question for you, Joy. And if anyone throws anything else in the chat, I will try to quickly acknowledge it. But I want to know, how can people continue to follow you, support you? Obviously said with the Boss-ish Black Women's Business Directory, in us supporting that directory, we're also supporting other great causes. Can you break down how we can support the Joy of Styling?
You can support the Joy of Styling by staying connected to us. That is where you'll find out everything from, we have bookings opening for April in terms of you coming in styling. If you need closet help, closet cleanses, we have all the tips. We are in the middle of a Reels challenge right now where we are dropping gems nonstop. So following definitely.
It's so good, y'all. Tune into, please look at the Reels challenge.
So we are definitely dropping knowledge anywhere we can. You can support by listening to the podcast. It is on Apple Music. It is on Spotify. It is on Google. It is called Styled and Living Color. This is our second season. We had some amazing guests last season, and this season, as we continue to highlight, in terms of the events, you can continue to follow us to see what we have in store going into this 5th year. We have ebooks that are available on our website that you can download. Again, if you were saying, as we were saying earlier, about body types, we have a whole ebook on there about body types and closet cleanses, going deeper into it. But most importantly, just really tapping in and booking your style for your free consultation. Give us a call if you've ever wanted to work with a stylist, if you want to elevate your style, if you are entering in a new journey of your life and you want your clothes to match that. This is the opportunity to do it. We offer 3 different packages: the purpose, passion, and personality package. And 2 of them are monthly, whereas the 3rd one is a la carte. A lot of our clients love our virtual styling aspect, where you can just be at the comfort of your home and get all these different looks for you within a PDF, and all you have to do is click and pay. So we offer so many different ways for you to continue to level up within your style, as well as being safe during COVID. So we want to make sure that we are reaching you any way we can, but press the follow button. And then after you press the follow button, head over to our website and sign up for the newsletters, because that is where you get exclusive information about what we have going on. So I would say that's kind of all, like, the main points.
Let me unmute also on my computer, but those are all very important. I was trying to quickly potentially see if I could share the photos from the monochrome project, just because you mentioned it and I wanted the people to see it who were tuning in on Facebook. But what we can always do is put it in the chat later. This will always exist on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. So just know that if you want to share this stream or tune back in, and Joy may have said something that made you want to go back and listen again, this will always be here. And so we just appreciate you all's support and for tuning in. Joy, is there anything that you want to add for the people before we wrap?
Mainly just want to add, continue to have an amazing week. And I think going into the spring, as we refresh, it's easy for people to compare and want to be where they aren't right now. Continue to evolve and know that is what is for you is always for you, and it's not ever going to go anywhere because it already has your name on it. And yeah, I really just have an amazing day. Feel free to follow me on my personal page, joy.tiffany. That is Tiffany with an I and not a Y. And you can see my journey, what I end up posting there, and how I'm very transparent, as you may be able to see during this interview, about how I got where I am. And how the Joy of Styling got where they are. And I'm just truly blessed to be on here and have an amazing cousin that I get to look up to as she continues to thrive and become her best self. Thanks for having me. Thanks for allowing me to share and speak about TJOS. And thank you for all the support that you have given, and everyone that has tuned on Facebook and on Instagram. It's appreciated. It's so appreciated. So continue to stay connected to us.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, it's gonna do a lot. Let me turn down my computer. My phone. I was trying Righteous Bang Pros Jackson. I cannot get it that quick. I thought I could to share the monochrome photos, but it is confirmation at the Joy of Styling. That is definitely it. And you can go see it. It's even, I just have to sign in on my computer. It's even on her, I don't know what that part is called, the story part where it's like the stories from a long time ago that are still there.
Yeah, you can see it in the stories. It's in the carousel photos that are also in the website too.
That you go take a look, make sure you take a look. And in the meantime, in between time, we definitely, yes, teamwork does make the dream work. And in the meantime, please make sure you follow all things the Joy of Styling. Joy, I appreciate you so much and all that you're doing. I'm so incredibly proud of you. The Joy of Styling, as I call it, Joy, she didn't even mention this. Look at me. This is me being the big cousin now. To celebrate the 5 years, she did her inaugural Clubhouse panel. So for all those on Clubhouse, follow her on Clubhouse. And that was a great conversation. Not only about the Joy of Styling, but we talked about just
purpose.
black, well, purpose in general, but it was all Black people on the panel. But purpose in general, purpose in general, but particularly, it was in January, so particularly looking on how we go into 2020, 21, and our goals, and continuing to thrive in this new year and always. But there's just so much. And so make sure you follow The Joy of Styling, follow Styled and Live in Color, follow TJOS Fit and Fab. I think those are your three. And of course, Joy
Yeah.
with an I, not a Y.
Those are the three.
To make sure you're following The Joy of Styling. And again, thank you to all of our Facebook and Instagram viewers. I love you all very much for bearing with us as we are still in the middle of pandemic pivot, and figuring out how to make sure that we get to the news to you in all sorts of ways. So we appreciate your support. Make sure you wash your hands, wear a mask, and always remember Black Lives Matter. Take care.
See ya.